new video. My name is Andy. If you are new here, I am a South African flight attendant. Back in 2014, I had pretty much the best year of my life. I spent the year in the Netherlands as an au pair to an amazing Dutch family with 2 really cool kids. A lot of you guys have asked me about my experience being an au pair in the Netherlands, as well as just some general information about becoming an au pair and what to know if you want to go about doing that. And I thought today I would dedicate this video to helping you guys if you're interested in becoming an au pair. So if you're curious, just keep watching. So an au pair is like, I want to say like a babysitter, but with more responsibility. Before I mess this up, let's just see what Google says about what an au pair is. A young foreign person, typically a woman, who helps with housework or childcare in exchange for food, a room, and some pocket money. I do want to just state that males can be au pairs. So if you're a guy, you're interested in spending a year in a different country and taking care of some kids, you're also able to do that. And yes, you can also be an au pair in the country you currently reside in. However, I want to talk today specifically about being an au pair in a different country altogether, because that is the experience that I had and that's what I want to share with you guys. By the way, you guys, quick disclaimer, all of what I'm talking about right now is the information I know from when I was an au pair and from what I can guess still applies now and from reading the au pair agency websites. During this time, with the current situation of the entire world, I'm not too sure about how things are working. So if I were you, I would call up one of the agencies that I'm going to mention later on and find out from them if this is something that you can still do now in this current time. When I was an au pair, that was actually my best year ever, and that is the year that I even realized I wanted to make being a flight attendant my career. It really is the year that I found myself. So if you're not sure if you want to go to varsity, or after varsity you're having trouble finding a job or something like that, and you're considering taking a gap year, becoming an au pair in a different country is a great way to go about doing that. As far as I know, you can be an au pair almost anywhere in the world, but I'm just going to talk about the countries I know for a fact you can go and be an au pair at, and this is specific to South Africans. These are the countries I know for a fact will accept au pairs from South Africa. So number 1, obviously the Netherlands. Other countries in Europe include Germany, Belgium, France, and Italy. And then of course you can also go to the United States. In order to become an au pair, you must be between the ages of 18 and 26. That is specifically for America. I know that in the Netherlands, you are allowed to be an au pair until the age of 29, but this is something I suggest you just double check depending on the country you want to go to. You must have a driver's license, you must have a matric certificate, you have to have good childcare experience. Growing up, I used to babysit my family friend's son, and when I was in maybe first year of college, I knew that I wanted to spend a year being an au pair, so I started actually just offering my babysitting services to my neighbors. This is important that you have experience, not only because you don't want to be a fish out of water when you get to that country and the family leaves you alone with like 3 kids and you have no idea what to do with them, how to communicate with them, how to entertain them, but during the interview process they will actually ask you about your experience with children. They will ask you if you've ever had a tough time dealing with a kid that maybe had a meltdown. They will ask you about stuff like that. Also, in your application, you need to provide photos of you doing certain things with the kids that you have taken care of, whether it is reading them a book, teaching them a song, teaching them the alphabet, playing outside, anything like that, as long as you can show that you actually have real childcare experience. And if you are studying childcare education, or you have like a full-time experience, maybe shadowing in a school or being like a school, not a teacher, but like, you know, the teacher aide or something like that, then that can also qualify you as having like childcare experience. You must understand and speak English. A lot of these parents, especially in Europe, want an au pair that is going to teach their children English. So if you can also conversate and communicate in English well, then obviously your chances will be better. You must have a genuine love for kids and be a caring person. I feel like this isn't spoken about enough. A lot of people fake it till they make it, you know what I mean? But I honestly think that you need to genuinely love kids in particular. If you are trying to get to a completely different country, to be stuck with those kids for a minimum 1 whole year. You must be in good physical health and mental health. Only non-smokers are accepted. You must obviously be a South African citizen. You must be unmarried and no kids of your own. No criminal record. That's a big one because they will do a criminal check on you. There are many agencies around the world that help people become au pairs, and one thing I really want to highlight to you guys is please use an agency. It is the only legal and legitimate way to go about being an au pair in a different country if you are from South Africa. If somebody just says, oh no, I'll buy you a plane ticket, come to America and you can look after my child, like, do we really trust that? Doesn't that sound like human trafficking to you? Please be careful about that. Remember, a lot of people who are interested in becoming au pair are still very young and fresh out of high school, so I highly encourage you guys to just be safe. The agencies are there to protect you. They are there to make sure you have the correct paperwork to get through customs when you arrive in that different country. If you and your host family end up having some sort of a conflict, then the agency is there to help you guys resolve that, because at the end of the day, like I said, a lot of you guys that want to be au pairs are still young. You might not be used to having to stick up for yourself. People might think they can take advantage of you. This is where the agency comes into play. You can communicate with them the entire year that you are with your host family in that country. They really are there to help you and back you up and make sure that you are safe the whole time. I know of 5 agencies. There are probably a ton more, but these are the 5 that I know. Au Pair Extraordinaire, Cultural Care Au Pair is a very popular one. Carla's Au Pairs is also super popular. Tip Top Au Pairs, and then I went through Au Pair International. So unfortunately, we can't all be au pairs forever. In Europe, you can only be an au pair for 1 year. I remember my contract was exactly 1 year in the Netherlands. If you wanted to come back and be an au pair again to Europe, you could do that, but you would have to return to your home country first, and then when you came back, it would have to be back to a different family in a different country. So you can't be an au pair in the Netherlands for a year, go home, come back to the Netherlands. You would have to come back and, let's say, match with a family in Belgium or in Germany or something like that. But in America, you can be an au pair for 1 year, which can be extended to 18 months or 2 years, and then you have to come home after that period. You have to stay home for at least 2 years. After those 2 years at home, you can actually return to America to be an au pair again for another 1 to 2 years. Okay, so unfortunately, becoming an au pair is not free. There definitely are costs involved. Those include your flight to and from the country that you are going to, your visa fees, your placement fees that you pay your agency in order for them to place you, your police clearance, which is your criminal background check. Sometimes you might have to get an international driver's license, especially if you're going to the US. I think you might have to get an international driver's license, and you'll have to pay for your health check from your doctor, and that's how they know if you are in good health or not. And I did check on one of the agencies. Cultural Care Au Pair charges about 15,000 Rand for this whole thing. Okay, so like Google said, you have to provide childcare, and in exchange, the host family gives you food, they give you a place to live, and they pay you some pocket money. It's barely a salary. It's really not a lot of money. Older black South African people think that if you go overseas, you're just gonna come back so rich and stuff, or at least my parents' generation think that way. But unfortunately, no, it really is a good amount of money, but it's not a lot. And it doesn't have to be a lot, because at the end of the day, you're not paying rent, you're not buying groceries, and you're not, like, you know, paying for the Wi-Fi or anything like that. Your money is only for you to buy, let's say, your toiletries, your makeup, and if you want to go on a few trips with your friends and, you know, for lunches with your friends every now and again, it'll cover that, but it's not an extensive amount of money that you can come home with like 50,000 Rand in the bank. In Europe, you get paid a minimum of about 350 euros a month, and in America you can get paid anywhere from about $850 a month. This pay does depend on your host family. It depends on how many children you are responsible for. Also, your working hours will affect how much money you get paid. because some families only need you to work 25 hours a week, while others need you to work 45 hours a week. I was incredibly lucky with my au pair experience, I must say. First and foremost, it came completely last minute, and like so many good, amazing things in life, it was completely out of the blue. My friend that I was in high school with was an au pair in the Netherlands, and her year was coming to an end. She was trying to help her host family find a replacement, and she knew that I was also involved in childcare to some form, because at that time I was interviewing with parents in America. I think I was registered with cultural care au pair or something like that, and I was trying to go in au pair in America. She let me know maybe a month before she was supposed to come home that they needed a replacement and would I be interested, and I was like, yeah, cool. And within 3 days I had interviewed with my host family and we got on really well, and they had offered me the position. I just had to register to the agency that they were registered with. As I mentioned earlier, it was Au Pair International. I'm extremely lucky that I did not have to pay anything. The cost that I mentioned to you guys before, I did not have to pay. And I think that this is either because my host family just wanted it that way, or the agency in particular did not let au pairs pay their way to become an au pair, if that makes sense. So my host dad works for KLM, so he paid for my flights, and then the family paid for everything else regarding my agency fees and all of that stuff, my police clearance, everything like that. All I had to do was get myself to Joburg to go and pick up my passport when my visa was ready and hop on a plane, and I was in the Netherlands. The au pair that I was replacing was only leaving 2 or 3 days after I arrived, so I was lucky enough. Usually it doesn't work that way, but like I keep saying, my experience, I felt like I was incredibly lucky. So she had a goodbye party and I was able to meet her friends and the other au pairs in my neighborhood, so I didn't have to like actually go and look for friends because they were already there. And then the next day she was able to actually take me around and show me the kids' school and the grocery store and like, you know, the kids' friends' houses and all that stuff. So I was able to kind of shadow her for a minute before she had to leave, which I think is a really cool way to introduce a new au pair. A lot of the time you don't have a chance to do that. A lot of the time the day the old au pair leaves is the day that the new au pair arrives, and you kind of just have to figure it out by yourself, and that kind of sucks. So my kids were 2 kids. The boy was 8 and the girl was 10 at the time. They were really chill. They were pretty easy to take care of, I must say. My responsibilities with them were things like I had to get them ready for school sometime. In the mornings, until I had to go pick them up from school, I would just make sure that their rooms are tidy, their laundry is done, and I would like meal plan for the whole week because I was the one making them dinner every evening. And so I would like do the groceries during the day and stuff like that, and then at about 3 o'clock I would go pick them up from school, take them to their friends' houses if they had a play date, take them to their sports events if they had any, pick them up from there, bring them home, prepare dinner, have dinner with them, clean up the kitchen and everything, hang out with them for a little bit, you know, read something or play a game. Like, I got really good at Dutch Monopoly. Just do that until the parents get home, and then go either hang out with my friends, go catch a couple drinks with my friends, go to a concert with my friends, or just go up to my room and hang out there. Sometimes on weekends, maybe every other weekend, they would ask me to babysit the kids, maybe on like a Saturday evening while the parents went to go do something on their own. So I didn't mind that at all because I found my schedule really light. Those were overall my responsibilities. If I've already done groceries, if the house is already neat, I could just hang out. A lot of us au pairs were literally in the same couple of blocks of the area, so we would go and hang out and have a coffee at someone's house before we all go and pick our kids up from school together. I found it super easy to make friends, and I know I mentioned that I was lucky enough to just be like, you know, introduced into a social group already. But even apart from those few people that I met when I first arrived in the Netherlands, it was really easy to make friends. We were right around the corner from an international university. There was a park that we used to always go and hang out at, but every everyone was roughly the same age. Everyone was young adults. Everyone was really keen on socializing. It was very international, like I mentioned. So we used to go to the park and have braais, and by the end of the day we had 10 new friends. If you're in an area where it's easy for you to see other au pairs and hang out with other au pairs, then I encourage you to definitely take advantage of that. And if you are somewhere where it's not easy to find other au pairs, I would suggest joining the Facebook groups of au pairs in whatever city or country you're in. There are so many of them. Just put a post on there, hey, who's free Wednesday? I want to go to lunch here, I want to go to this museum, I want to do this, I want to do that. And trust me, there will be at least 5 people that put their hand up and say, yeah, I'll come join you, because everyone wants to have a buddy to explore that country with, you know. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Give it a massive thumbs up if you did, and please subscribe to my channel for flight attendant and lifestyle content. Otherwise, that's it from me, you guys. Have a fantastic day. Don't forget to spread good vibes and be kind, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye.